types of classifications. Okay, basically there are three types of classifications are there. One is called as artificial system of classification. Second one is called as natural system of classification. And third one is called as a phylogenetic system of classification. So likewise, the scientists had categorized the all the classifications into three groups. Let's start with first one, the artificial system of classifications. According to artificial system of classifications, the classification of the plants is based on either one or few number of morphological characters. Or gross morphology of plant parts like size, color, shape of the leaves, etc. are considered for classification of the plants. Let's take this example only. So the classification is based on size, color and shape of the leaves. If the plants are differing in the size, shape and color of the leaves, those plants are kept in different groups. Maybe the plants which are kept in different groups, they may be differing in the size, shape and color of the leaves, but they may be showing more number of similarities in other characters, so that the type of classification is not an perfect one. Or sometimes what happens, the plants which are similar in the characters of a leaf are kept in one group, but they may be differing in other characters in large number. So that means more number of dissimilar character containing plants have been kept in one group, and sometimes more number of plants with more number of similarities are kept in different groups. That may occur according to the artificial system of classification. That's why it may not give the accurate system of classification of the plants. So let us take some of the examples of classification that have been given by various scientists. Starting with one, Theophrastus. He had classified the plants into herbs, shrubs and trees. So here this type of classification where all herbs are the part of one group, all shrubs are the part of one group and all trees are the part of one group. So this is one classification that was given by Theophrastus scientist. Then Linnaeus scientist. So Linnaeus had Linnaeus system of classification is called as sexual system of classification. So why it is called a sexual system of classification means, so here sexual characters of the plants have been considered, that is the characters of sex organs, that is characters of stamens and the carpels. The male sex organs and the female sex organs have been considered for classification of the plants. For example, the shape of the stamens, the number of stamens, number of carpels, the shape of the carpels, so that the size of the carpels, the size of the stamens. So all the characters related to only these two parts of the plant have been considered for classification. Why it is so? Why he considered only these stamens and carpels for classification means, according to the scientist, the floral characters are more stable when compared to vegetative characters. That means simply to say the vegetative characters will undergo, there is a possibility of change of vegetative characters according to the change in environmental conditions, but the floral characters does not show easy change in the characters based on environmental changes. So that means floral characters are remain stable, remain same for more number of generations when compared to the vegetative characters. So likewise, these are some of the, okay, his system of classification was given in Species Plantarum book. Okay, these are the classifications belonging to artificial system of classifications. And in the artificial system, we have seen Theophrastus had given. So Theophrastus classification was given in a book called as Historia Plantarum. Theophrastus classification was given in Historia Plantarum, whereas Linnaeus classification was given in Species Plantarum book. Natural systems of classification. So now let us see how this natural system of classification is different from artificial system of classification. In the artificial system, we have seen only one or few number of morphological characters are considered by the scientists for classification. But here, maximum number of or possible number of characters, particularly vegetative characters, are considered for classification of the plants. Then in the artificial system of classification, the scientists haven't considered the natural relationships existing between the plants, but here they had considered the natural relationships existing between the plant groups. So when we compare the artificial to the natural, we can say that our natural system of classification will give somewhat more better classification. It is not a perfect one to say, but a better classification when compared to the artificial system of classification. Here, evolutionary changes or phylogeny of plants are not considered for classification. So this is one negative aspect related to the natural system, because if we consider evolution change also, it may give some more better character, because whatever the changes which are taking place from one generation to other generation, the same species have to be considered here. So as this evolution changes or phylogeny of the plants are not considered in the natural system, so it is not a more and more suitable or perfect or accurate system of classification. And of course here there are many scientists are there. So one is the classification given by Bentham and Hooker scientists. So here Bentham and Hooker system of classification is based on Bessey's system of classification, and Bentham and Hooker actually these are the these two persons are the botanical scientists who were working in Royal Botanical Garden, Kew, England. And they had studied lot number of plants. Based on the characteristic variations or characteristic similarities between the plants, they they classified the plants. So here the book that was written by this scientist is Genera Plantarum in 3 volumes. Genera Plantarum in 3 volumes. In that 3 volumes of book, they had classified, they are given the classification of the flowering plants. And of course, they also written one more book called as Flora of British India. And actually here the person, they came to India before independence, and they studied various groups of plants which are present in India. And they are the person who is responsible for the establishment of Botanical Survey of India in Kolkata. So here Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So it is one of the classification of natural systems. So these two scientists had studied nearly about 97,205 plant species and categorized the plants into 202 natural orders. So the word natural orders have been used by the scientists, which is equals to present day families or family. Natural order means family, and here they use some other words also like cohorts. Cohorts means present day orders in the hierarchy of classification. We know that in the hierarchy, species, genus, family, order, species, class, subclass, class, like orders will be there. So in that natural orders have been are equal to families, and cohorts are equal to orders. So these scientists had classified the flowering plants. So we know that flowering plants are called as phanerograms. So they had classified the flowering plants into 3 classes. So those 3 classes are dicotyledonnae, gymnospermae, and the third one is monocotyledonnae. So here the characters are variating between the 3 classes. The first one, dicots, they are showing taproot system. Mostly tetramerous or pentamerous flowers. Tetramerous or pentamerous means actually if you take the perianth lobes, that is calyx and corolla, the calyx will contain 4 sepals and or multiples of 4, and petals they contain 4 or multiples of 4. That nature is called as tetramerous flowers. If the sepals are 5 or multiples of 5, or the petals are 5 or multiples of 5, we call it as pentamerous flowers. So then reticulate venation in the leaves. We know that in the leaves, midvein, lateral veins and veinlets, they are forming into network like structure to spread on in the lamina, so which will help in exposure of the leaves. So that network like venation is called as reticulate venation, and presence of 2 cotyledons in the seed. So these are the some basic features that have been identified in almost all the dicotyledonous plants. So now let us come to gymnospermae. We know that gymnospermae are the naked seed containing plants. So these are the one which contains ovules, but ovary is absent. So ovules are converted into seeds as a result of post fertilization changes, and the seeds are directly exposed to the environment because they does not have the pericarp surrounding the seed. This type of flowering plants where the naked seeds are present are called as gymnosperms. And what are the characters that have been observed in monocots? First one is presence of a fibrous root system. So fibrous root system means actually the radicle develop into the taproot or the primary root that will perish after few days, and in place of that one many root like or many fiber like roots will arise from the base of the stem. Such type of root system is called as fibrous root system. Second one, trimerous flowers. Trimerous flowers means the perianth lobes are present which are 3 or multiples of 3, and each whorl will contains only 3, and if they have 6 perianth parts are there, perianth lobes are there, so 3 in the outer whorl and 3 in the inner whorl. Likewise 3 or multiples of 3 of perianth lobes are present, so we call them as trimerous flowers. Parallel venation in the leaves. Right, here the midvein is present, and on that lateral veins are arranged. These lateral veins are present in a parallel manner to each other. That type of venation is called parallel venation. And the fourth one is presence of single cotyledon in the seed. So like these are the basic characters that have been observed in the monocots. And one more difference can also be identified here between monocots and dicots. That is, the dicots contains heterochlamydious condition. Heterochlamydious means the perianth is differentiated into calyx and corolla, where the calyx is small and green, corolla is large and multicolored. Whereas here in monocots, these are homochlamydious. So we can't differentiate the perianth lobes. So that perianth lobes are undifferentiable. So we call those perianth lobes as tepals. Whereas here the calyx or sepals are there, and corolla or petals are present. So these are the some other basic differences that can be observed between the dicots and monocots. Now let us see what are the subclasses and the further divisions that are present in dicots and monocots also. First let's take class Dicotyledonnae. So this class Dicotyledonnae is subdivided into 3 subclasses. So those are Polypetalae, Gamopetalae and Monoclamidae. So under dicots, 3 subclasses are there. Starting with Polypetalae. Here petals are free, whereas in Gamopetalae the petals are fused. And one more difference we can identify here, the perianth is present in 2 whorls. The outer whorl is called as calyx and inner whorl is called as corolla. Here also the perianth is present in 2 whorls. But when it comes to Monoclamidae, so here the perianth is present in single whorl. So here Monoclamidae is based on only single character. Now let us come to the further classification under subclass Polypetalae. So Polypetalae is further divided into 3 series. Those are Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae and Calyciflorae. Let's start with the first Thalamiflorae. Here the thalamus is convex or conical shaped, and as it is convex or conical shaped, if you observe the diagram, the thalamus will be convex like this. So at the tip of this flower, at the tip of the thalamus, the ovary will be growing, and remaining floral parts appearing to be coming from the base of the ovary like this. So this is a convex shaped thalamus, and this is a ovary present at the tip of that one, and remaining floral parts. So here in this condition, the flowers are hypogynous in their nature. When they are hypogynous, the ovary will be superior. So these are the characters that can be observed in members of Thalamiflorae series. So here Thalamiflorae contains 6 cohorts. Cohorts means orders. Then Disciflorae. So in Disciflorae, the thalamus is disc shaped or disc like, and remaining floral parts. So at the tip of the disc like structure, the ovary will be growing, and remaining floral parts appears to be coming from the base. So that here little bit the condition of the flower may be hypogynous, and sometimes it may be perigynous also. And under Disciflorae there are 4 cohorts. Then Calyciflorae. Here the thalamus is nearly cup shaped. As it is cup shaped, so the ovary is present in the depression of the cup shaped structure. So remaining floral parts are appearing from the margins of the thalamus. So here in Calyciflorae, the perigynous flowers are present, or epigynous condition may also be seen. So here Calyciflorae contains a number of cohorts as 5. So in Dicotyledonnae, if we take the Dicotyledonnae, so a total of 3 subclasses are there, 3 series are there, and 6 plus 4 plus 5. A total of 15 cohorts are present in the Dicotyledone. Class Dicotyledone contains 3 subclasses, 3 series and 15 cohorts. So, class Dicotyledone contains 3 subclasses and 3 series of are present in the first subclass. Next, coming to the second subclass, that is Gamopetalae. So, as we have seen that the fused petals are present, and in this one there is a possibility of epipetalous condition, that is the filaments are attached to the petals on inner side. So, this character may be present in most of the Gamopetalae. Under this Gamopetalae there are 3 series are present. So, those are inferae, heteromerae and bicarpellate. So, let us see the characters of inferae. So, here the name inferae means here the ovary is inferior and carpels are 2 in number, that is 2 carpels are present, and under inferae there are 4 cohorts and heteromerae. So, we here the ovary is superior and the number of carpels is more than 2, and here the number of cohorts are 3. Then when coming to bicarpellate, where the ovary is superior and number of carpels are 2. Here this also contains 3 cohorts. In the second subclass Gamopetalae, which contains 3 series, inferae, heteromerae and bicarpellate, and each of them contains here 4 cohorts in inferae, 3 cohorts in heteromerae and 3 cohorts in bicarpellate. So, a total of 10 cohorts are present. So, under Gamopetalae 3 series and 10 cohorts are present, whereas in Polypetalae 3 series and 15 cohorts are present. 3 series and 15 cohorts. Whereas the third subclass, that is Monoclamidae. Under Monoclamidae a total of 8 series are present and cohorts are absent, so 0 cohorts. And based on the whatever we have studied here, let us take the subclass class Dicotyledone. Under this 3 subclasses are there, and number of series are 3 in Polypetalae, 3 in Gamopetalae and 8 in Monoclamidae. So, it comes to 14 series. Then 15 cohorts in Polypetalae and 10 cohorts in Gamopetalae and 0 cohorts in Monoclamidae. So, it comes to 25 cohorts. So, this is about the class Dicotyledone, 3 subclasses, 14 series and 25 cohorts are present. Class Monocotyledone. Under Monocotyledone 7 series are directly present. So, here actually we know that the class have to be further divided, or the next lower hierarchy should be subclass, but here subclasses are not present. Directly the classes are divided into series. The total number of series are 7 and 0 cohorts. Here the cohorts are also absent. Directly the series are divided into families. A total number of 34 families are there under monocots. And if we take the dicots, dicots have 165 families or natural orders, whereas gymnosperms have, that is gymnospermae, have 3 natural orders, and monocots or monocotyledonate have 34 natural orders. A total of 202 natural orders are present in entire Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So here there are many merits and demerits related to the classification given by Bentham and Hooker. The major demerit related to the Bentham and Hooker system of classification is, actually we know that dicots contain seeds enclosed inside the fruit wall. Monocots also, the seeds enclosed inside the fruit wall. But here gymnosperm is a group which have been placed between monocots and dicots, or dicots and monocots, and it is the group where the naked seeds are present. So the placing of naked seed or naked ovule containing gymnosperms between fruit containing or ovary containing dicots and monocots is a demerit related to the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. Phylogenetic system of classifications. In the phylogenetic system of classifications, so here the more and more importance is given to the phylogeny, that is the evolutionary changes which are taking place from one generation to the another generation. Of course, apart from that one, they also consider the concept from various branches of botany also. And one other important aspect related to the phylogenetic system of classification is, this is considered as a post-Darwinian system of classification. Why it is so called as post-Darwinian system of classification means, so these systems are given after the publication of Origin of Species by Darwin. And we know that Darwin had proposed natural theory of evolution. So after the proposal of natural theory of evolution, so these phylogenetic systems have been given. That's why we call them as a post-Darwinian systems of classification, as according to the system, according to the systems. So origin of species, that new species, how they have been evolved, so how they have been formed, that is giving the concept of evolution, so that scientists come to know about the evolution is taking place in the course of the changes taking place in the plants. So that is the reason why they had also considered the changes and the evolutionary aspects or the phylogenetic aspects of the plants. So that's the reason why, so these systems are more and more accurate when compared to, more not accurate to be said, like more perfect when compared to the earlier systems of classification. Out of this, Engler and Prandtl, the classification that was given by Engler and Prandtl is the first phylogenetic system of classification that was given in a book called as Die Natürlichen Pflanzenfamilien. Then little modification can be observed in the classification that was given by Hutchinson scientist in his book called as Families of Flowering Plants. So likewise, the more and more advancement can be observed based on the classification that have been given by scientists. And apart from this one, synthetic systems we can call it as, or multidisciplinary systems of classification. So here, what are these multidisciplinary systems of classification means? As already I said that the phylogeny have been considered more and more important, and the evolution changes have been taken. Genetical aspects have been considered for classification in the phylogenetic system. So in the synthetic systems, so there is a little more advancement when compared to phylogenetic systems, where not only the genetical aspects, genetical changes, evolutionary changes are phylogeny. Apart from all this, they also consider the knowledge from various branches of botany. That's why it is called as synthetic systems of classification. Likewise, many scientists are there: Cronquist, Takhtajan, Goldberg, Shipunov, like many other scientists are there who are the part of this multidisciplinary or synthetic systems of classification. So likewise, these are the various types of classifications given by different groups of scientists that have been categorized into three types: artificial, natural and the phylogenetic systems of classifications.